You get your kicks flying too close to stars? Because you're putting out some interesting radiation. Sounds like you're just the type of pilot the Vanguard's looking for.
You might be Freestar Ranger material.
Give it your all out there. Supra et Ultra.
Don't mess with me!
You think you're just gonna walk up here and get us to surrender?
You killed a Terramorph. Holy shit.
So tell me, stranger, how do I know you're gonna deal straight with us?
Make us look good out there, recruit.
Welcome back, everybody, to a Starfield Report podcast. I'm your host, Kenny Smyson, and with me, as always, is Jax Wiley. How you doing, Jax?
Doing great. Good morning, captains. How are y'all doing this morning, or this afternoon, or this evening, whenever you're watching us?
So, yeah, that's going to be a good episode today. We're going to do the final mission of the Terran Armada quest line. Now, what we decided to do, though, is there's some fluff. There's a little bit of extra stuff. In fact, maybe even Delta's Affinity quest. Maybe we can wrap that up. But we're going to do another Terran Armada episode. We'll just probably call it Terran Armada Review. We'll do that in 2 weeks. And so we're going to cover just a review of the Terran Armada, DLC as a whole, but also talk about some of that little fluff stuff. And we'll get into Delta's Affinity quest as well, and that'd be good. So that way, hopefully we'll have talked about everything related to Terran Armada by the time we finish that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. What have you gotten into in the gameplay over the last couple weeks since last week? Was it last week? Yeah. It's only been a week since our episode. I didn't do anything but pretty sure I didn't do anything but this.
I finished all of this up few weeks back, so I've just been kind of poking around, and I had let's see, I had at my main base, I had a Dark Star landing pad, and I had a J Ramos Works, what is it, Ramtech, and he's got a Ramtech landing pad.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured out I could have both of those landing pads in one base, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Ramtech one gives you access to every single ship in the game, and he's been adding custom ships. So if you have mod for a custom ship, he's put a lot of those custom ships in the Ramtech ship technician, right?
Mm-hmm.
Buy and sell and trade.
Yeah.
So I had that one, and then I had the Dark Star one, which gives me basically it opens and unlocks all parts for all ships in the entire game.
Gotcha.
So if you're high enough level and you have access to that part over at Hopetown, or you have access to those parts in Deimos, they're all aggregated in one place.
Okay.
So then you don't have to jump all over the solar system to build a ship. You can just go to your Dark Star landing pad and build the ship you want. You're right. So it's one of those things where it takes away some of the grind, which we talk about that. The first time you play, that's a lot of flavor. The fourth or fifth time, it's just grind. It's just a waste of time. It gets to the point where I don't need to do all this, please. So that's really heavily where I modify my game, is to get rid of some of that, because I just don't have time to mess with that a third and fourth and fifth time. But I was having a problem with a ship being on one landing pad, and then I would move to the other landing pad and bring my spaceship over to the other landing pad. And then when I would get out of the builder, both the ships were merged.
Yeah.
And so I'm seeing like some of the Terran spaceships along with my ship, the Avant-Garde, are merged together. And you're like, that's what's going on. None of that looks right. And then you realize, oh, this is a mess. And I could not get the two ships to land in separate spots where I wanted them to, and move from one pad to the other, trying to separate them.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up having to delete my entire base and start over. So now I have a base that's got my X-Tech extractors. I got 6 of them at this point, all feeding into a large storage.
Yep.
And I have the what's it called? The J Ramos Ramtech base landing pad at that base.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to keep that separate. And then I'm
Okay.
going to find me a nice, beautiful home planet, and I'm going to build me my Darkstar base and call it my Darkstar research base, because that's where I'll go to do any research or sell weapons or break weapons down and all of that stuff at one place. And I'll have my X-Tech being extracted at another place.
Okay.
So I don't run into that problem again. I learned a lesson.
Well, now we're definitely going to get into. So there's some side quests related to building the X-Core or X-Tech extractors. So we're going to get into that as part of our final Terran Armada episode. But I am curious, aside from those quests where you go to a specific place to build an X-Tech extractor, can you put X-Tech extractors anywhere? Or is it like a mineral that's now populated? No. Oh, okay.
They're like the water, water constrictors. The water, when you land on a planet, you got to find the spot with the H3 or the spot with the gold. But water vapor, you can just put a water vapor extractor anywhere on your base.
Okay.
And it starts gathering water. X-Tech's the same way. You put them anywhere.
Interesting. Okay. So
I've got them set up in a 6-part grid, like you would have dots on a 6-sided dice.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, and then a second row of 1, 2, 3, and then in the middle. So those 6 dots make 4 squares or 2 squares.
Yep.
Right. So in one of them is a nuclear power plant, because you have to power them.
Yep.
And then the other one is a large solid storage unit.
Okay.
So it's just a little square with everything's like self-contained right there in a small little spot.
Okay.
So that I just leave that running. I gotta go check on it, see how much X-Tech I've made today.
Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. That's good to know. It's a little almost immersion breaking that you can just put an X-Tech extractor anywhere, but that's fine. I mean, yeah, well, because actually glad they did that, because what if you have a great base and you want to build one of those and you don't have to, you can just put one at your base where it's already at. So
right,
I guess from that perspective, it's definitely worth it. So yeah, we'll definitely cover more about the X-Tech extractors in our next episode, and we'll also do Delta's his Affinity quest. Yeah, I didn't do. I didn't get the chance to play on it, but when I was upgrading or updating my mods, I usually try to look at all the patch notes to see what before I update, because some mods you kind of want to do that because it might indicate something. For example, the latest Galactic Harvest update, the mod author said that you're going to want to remove, I think, all of your Galactic Harvest stuff, because there's some form IDs that changed. So it's going to be really screwed up if you go back to it and it's to your actual setup. So hopefully it's easy just for you to remove them from your base or your ship, update the mod, then re-add those things. And I'm assuming we're referring to, well, I don't know what we're referring to. Is it just her workbenches? Is it some of her growing stations, the actual items? I don't know, but just and when you're doing mods in general, that's what you're going to want to be careful about. But anyways, Graphs Habs, the Nova Galactic 1x1s, he updated it because a major issue, the only issue I had with his mod was a lot of times the aft wall, the back wall, did not have an attachment point for a door or a window. Now, on one of the captain's quarters where the bed is on the back wall, it makes sense. You don't want to lose your bed. Although I could make the case, well, what if you don't want that to be a bedroom, but more like a lounge room, right? But anyways, he added a back hatch to a lot of them, because on my big Event Horizon 2 ship that I have, that I still have to do a video for it. What I have is my big Kontiki bridge, and right below that, I just wanted the 1x1 mess hall that he has. because it's just a nice, neat little convenient space. And so I'd have the door come in the back, and up front I would just have a window. So then that way, think of it like, the crew wants to take a 10-minute break, so they're just going to go downstairs and have a pot of, have a cup of coffee or something like that. But you need a door to go backwards out of it and to get into the rest of my ship. But then a window up front, so that way that the crew can, if something's starting to actively happen, or if we're approaching a planet and they're down there having a cup of coffee, they can walk up to the window and see what we're seeing, or if we're landed on a planet. Because the whole point of that ship is I'm going to map the entire galaxy. I'm going to survey the whole thing. So I really want to embrace the surveying role play, not just with my character, but also the ship he's flying. So
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you have any last stuff as far as your general gameplay, or we're going to hop into the mission now?
No, let's get into it.
All right. We're going to get into this mission. Okay. So to the main event today, we are doing the final mission of the Terran Armada questline. It is the Unifier mission. And I just did it last night. I wanted to have it be very fresh in my mind. I find that I get a lot more, unless I'm taking notes, if I wait too long from doing a mission to a recording, I do forget little details. So I wanted to make sure it was fresh in my mind. That backfired slightly, though, because I was up a lot later than I thought. Because when I haven't played on this character. I've been having a lot of fun on my Space Sharker, which is my main character. Currently not doing Terran Armada, but my combat medic here, he was going through the Terran Armada quest line, and I didn't realize. I should have looked at how much was involved in this quest line, because you have to get 3 black boxes again to start this mission off.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot. Well, we'll save that for our review episode, but
It's probably been 3 weeks, maybe a month since I've done it. So I'm in that spot that you were saying, where it's like I'm trying to pull this stuff up in my memory and going, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Like this first part. And I'm like, I thought you just got no, I guess that's right. So reading through it going, yeah, I did all that. I just didn't remember it.
Yeah, it's we're getting old, Jax. Us Gen Xers, we're starting to get there.
Right.
But
all the graybeards.
All of us graybeards. Yes, we are the graybeards. Shout. Now, this mission was definitely a lot of fun as far as just overall gameplay, if you're just looking at the simplicity of it. But the fact that there was I think it was the second mission, you have to go do the 3 black boxes, and then you do the core of the mission. It was just a bit much of a repeat, just from a story perspective. I mean, because these incursions are like, they're like your Oblivion gates. You got to go to a place, run through it, grab item. Just like going into Oblivion Gate, you got to run and get the sigil stone and run out. But at least the sigil stones, you could just use that as a direct enchanting artifact to enchant, your stuff. Although, I guess if we were going to compare loot, you get way more loot out of these incursion runs. Now, I've not done a minor incursion yet. Have you noticed a difference between a minor incursion and a major one? Or is it just the major, they call it a major because it's a plot point?
Well, I think the minor one we talked about a little bit last week, where there's these relay stations. And a minor one, there's not a lot going on there.
Okay.
Sometimes you may run into a couple of ships that are protecting it. Other times I've shown up and there's nothing there. You just board the thing. You go inside of it. You handle the stuff. No enemies. You get to the top. You disable the thing, and boop, that's your minor incursion. It's done.
Gotcha.
So it's simplified as to what you're doing. They're just not as big a deal.
Okay.
Major incursions are a bigger ship, like a nullifier.
Is it a smaller and quicker run to get through? Okay.
Yeah.
So at least
5 minutes.
Oh, okay. So yeah, because the major ones are definitely more combat involved and going through the ships and whatnot.
Yeah.
Now, in my case, I have yet to do a ground incursion. I don't know if those are only minor ones or if if sometimes the major one can be it. I do know it's
No.
random.
I've every time I've gone through this, I've I put pictures up. There's a
Yeah.
okay, so back on 525 at 7 a.m. I put up a picture, and I don't know. Can you see that in the sidebar?
Yeah, I can see a sidebar here.
Can you see the picture of me sitting down in my spaceship?
There's 2 videos that looks like you posted. There's a you're jumping up your ladder in one video, and yeah, then you're sitting down. Oh, is that you taking off from one of the incursions?
That's
Okay,
one of the ground incursions,
okay.
and that's where I got the explosion that we show in our openings trailer for our podcast.
Oh,
That's
gotcha.
where I got
Okay.
it. And every time that I've gone through the quest line for Terran Armada, I've
Hmm.
had this one on the ground that I've had to go land and go to it and go through it. And
Okay.
you didn't have one on the ground, huh?
No, yeah, I never
Weird.
had one on the ground at all. Um,
That's weird.
yeah, that's very peculiar.
Random.
But that's a positive because it's gonna be a random experience. You know, if you're
Hmm.
gonna have something that is slightly repetitive, having a randomization to it certainly does mix it up and make it a little more fun. I mean,
Hmm.
the gameplay, purely just from the gameplay perspective, it's a blast going against Terrans. It does feel to me that the AI for scripting for those guys is improved, and I don't know if they're
Hmm.
going to improve the AI to other NPCs, Crimson Fleet, Spacers, whatever, or just have turns be the special thing. Um, there's so yeah, we'll get into that probably a little more in the review episode.
Yeah.
We do next
All right.
recording,
So
but yeah, so
back on track. You
yeah,
get the boxes.
we got to get the boxes. So I had I had an enforcer, an
Mhm.
assembler, and an enforcer. Those are the 3 ship types that I did. So I did two enforcers. Um,
Yeah, I
and
think mine. I think the one that's on the ground is the nullifier.
it's called a nullifier. Okay.
I
I'll
think
have to
so.
I wonder if when I'm looking at the
I could,
minor incursions, if it happens to say that. But I mean, I'll have to we'll get to that at the end of this recording because there's a decision you make that's pretty significant. Um, but yeah, so my first incursion was a Terran Enforcer, and there was nothing too unique about this one because I'm pretty sure I had at least one major incursion in that from that mission, a couple mission 2 or whatever it was, where it was the enforcers are pretty straightforward. You're just shooting your way through it. You get the black box, and you get out. Um, I can't. Did you have anything? Do you remember the order of your incursions? What type of Terran ships you were going up against? No.
no.
Okay, that's all right. My second one was and for what it's worth, I know a lot of players have had issues with that black box being gone. I've not experienced that. Now obviously they did a patch that the recent patch they did had
Mhm.
something to do with fixing a bug related to them not being there, I believe.
Yeah.
So hopefully it fixes it in mid mission. So if any players can comment and below it, if you were in the middle of a mission and the black box was not there and you went off and just did other things because you were frustrated, is the black box now back, or do you have to have not triggered the mission yet and started it or boarded the ship for the bug to fix to actually take effect? Does that make sense? Yeah, like because
Makes sense.
some things unfortunately it can't be fixed if you've already initiated it, but some can on the back end with the coding. I'm not smart enough to know how all that works, but I am aware that sometimes the hot fix can fix something right in the middle of it. Sometimes, unfortunately, it would require a reload or go through the Unity. So,
Right. Unity jump.
yep. Now, my second
Um,
incursion against the assembler, that one definitely I think had more Terrans in it because it looked like it was a spaceship that builds Terran robots.
Right. Hmm.
Okay, there's more of the pods, which is always fun. I like it. I hear the bling, beep, and I'm like, oh, where is it? Where is it? I'm just running around trying to find the one with the flashing light. Now in that one,
the assembler is a robot assembly plant, literally in space.
Yeah.
And that's how they're making troops.
Yep. Now in the assembler, I had to. Now I wonder if there's like different if every enforcer's the same, because I think the first and third enforcer, I think very similar, but I don't think they were exactly the same. Or maybe I was just tired and I wasn't remembering things when I was playing last night. But I wonder if that's the case. As the like there's certain rooms that they might need on every enforcer, on every assembler, but they just reshuffle it, right? They randomize the design of the ship. That might be the case slightly, but anyways, in this assembler, when you get to the reactor controls, it's like a little cubicle with a door on either side. Well, not a room, I should say, not a cubicle, because it's all the way to the ceiling. But there's if my memory serves me correct, as I went into this larger room, had a gun battle. There's a room on the right. There's a little room on the left. No, this one wasn't for me.
Oh, okay.
No. And the very last ship, the actual Unifier, at one point I had 0G combat, but not. I've never had zero. Oh no, I did have 0G in the very first incursion I did. I went in there and it was 0G. But in the room next to the reactor control room, there was 2 mannequins, and one had a full Ryujan stealth suit, the new black suit, the whole thing. Because I've come across the jetpack frequently inside the ships. There's a little galley. Sometimes the door is locked, but
yes,
you go through that, and there's a gun, some ammo for the gun, and there's a jetpack right there. So that's the only thing worth it in that galley. Every single one of those galleys I've been into, I'll run and grab. I'm like, oh, this is that galley. Just turn right, gun, weapon, or ammo.
One of the very
jetpack.
first encounters, also as you're leaving, I never notice them when I'm going in, but as I'm leaving out, I'm taking care of business and I'm taking out. Right near the end of the ship, before you board your ship, there's 2 jetpack backpack hangers on the wall, and one of them every time was the Ryujan stealth pack.
Okay.
And that was where I found the first one, and I was like, "Ooh, this is interesting, neato."
Yeah,
and that was at the very beginning of Terran Armada, so it was they kind of dished it out early, and it was a long time before I seen the suit and the helmet.
Yeah, it's
also in there. Wasn't there also a like a old school NASA suit?
That's what I was gonna say. The full Ryujan suit and then a NASA suit. Now, the Ryujan suit, just like everything, is your 3 pieces: your spacesuit, your helmet, and your jetpack. But then the Apollo 11 suit is just a full suit. It's all 3. Although I didn't think to see if it actually has a jetpack. It's got the huge pack on the back. But I don't know if that. I didn't think to put it on and jump around in it yet. I've just got it in my ship cargo hold.
I think I've lost mine somewhere.
Oh no!
I thought I put it on when I get on my ship, I got like 8 mannequins on there, and they're all supposed to be like a ready room for a spacewalk or a ready room for a battle. So yeah, as far as that the spacesuit, NASA one, what'd you say, the Apollo 11 suit? That's where I thought I had it on my spaceship there, but since then I've walked through and go, it's not there no more. So I'm not sure what's happened to it. It's on a base. I've had to change bases because I've had some glitches. I was using 2 landing pads at once, and ships started appearing, and then ships appearing in ships, and I was like, oh, I can't have this.
Yeah, that's frustrating and sad when you lose stuff.
Yep.
I mean, I wish the captain's locker on ships was a lot more spacious, and I wish when you switch ships, things in the captain's locker would stay in the captain's locker when you switch to the other ship, because it pulls it out and shoves it into the cargo hold when you switch a ship.
Normal cargo.
Yeah, and in my first playthrough, that's how I accidentally sold some stuff that I didn't want to sell. It wasn't anything super unique, but like sometimes when I come across a really good variant of a gun, but I'm like, man, I I need to upgrade my you know my research skills before I can use it because I need to put other mods on it. Because a lot of times what happens is I'll in lower levels or a low skill crafting level of a character, I might come across a gun that already has a lot of attachments on it that I can't put on guns yet myself because I don't have the weapons modification skill up to par. So I just run with that one, until I can modify gun. But anyways, yeah. So the Apollo 11 suit and the full Ryusen spacesuit are right there next to the reactor controls.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, I noticed in now usually in the final room there's two bosses. There's a human boss and a robot boss. They have they either have two or three traits, right, that affect everybody. And at this point, I don't I used to always hit my scanner to see what their traits are, but
Mhm.
I don't even do that now. I mean, and I don't quite have all the icons memorized.
Right.
Because when you're aiming at them and hitting them, the icons will pop up. And if you open the scanner, it'll tell you what those are. So aside from the only one I'll know that it is a specific one they have is the one that like moves you around, like shakes you around like a telekinetic power.
Hmm.
You've not been hit with that before?
I don't guess so.
Yeah,
Or I
like
didn't realize what it was.
you'll
Does it make your vision all blurry and you
yeah, you're like
you're kind of woozy?
yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't. That's what that. I ran into that and I thought I was like, what is going on? How come I'm not dying? I don't have an affliction. I'm not low on health. I don't
Mhm.
understand. That's what that is. Okay,
Yeah, it's an
somebody has
actual
cast
power
power
from
on me.
them. Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just worth keeping in mind. Um, so yeah. The only time I had a real pain in the butt fight in one of these, but it was the I think it was the one of the major incursions from the mission a couple missions ago, was when I had two bosses that both had the healing power, where they can
Oh,
heal the people with them. So
right.
you
So
know,
it's back and forth. Heal,
yeah.
heal, heal, heal.
And I went through. I was constantly using the like all of my damage boosting drugs that I had on me, like
Mhm.
Panopticon and Frostwolf in my infantry alpha, and
Right,
I
right.
went through a lot of that on those guys. Um,
You have to
yeah,
fade time.
because I would start I would focus fire. I realized if I focus fire on one, but every once in a while shoot the other one, like that might cause the other one to retreat or go into cover, and then I would immediately focus fire on the other guy, just kind of switching, like just every once in a while, just
Right.
pot shot at him or huck a grenade his way, and then
That's
that's
what I was gonna say was,
yeah,
yeah, toss a grenade over there, and then they'll tend to kinda back off a little bit.
yeah, yeah. So third incursion. I didn't have any special notes that I wrote down on this one because the first and third were both Terran enforcers, as I mentioned earlier, and so there wasn't really anything fancy going through there.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously, it's nice having the Dark Star mod because it allows you to strip the equipment off the people, their
Mhm.
spacesuit and their clothing, because all the apparel, the crew apparel, is fairly valuable. Not nearly as
Mhm.
valuable as
Yeah.
the spacesuits, of course, themselves, but I'd say as valuable as the boost packs or the
Well,
helmet.
yeah, yeah.
So you
If
get
you're running with Starborn Among Us, then every 5th or 6th one is a Starborn and has a Starborn outfit worth 50K. Of
oh,
course, they only sell for about 5 grand or something,
okay,
but that's 5 grand you didn't have.
yeah, yeah. That's part of why I took a long time last night because what happened after my first incursion and second incursions, I did a loot run, and even though I have that perk or that mod that as you level up your commerce skill, the vendors have more credits. Right, I have that, and then of course I'll go into my settings and change my vendor's credit availability to max.
Max. Mhm.
Even then, man, it would take me like 10-15 minutes to sell, and I'd go to Neon, I go to Neon Tactical, I run down to Arborum, and then I go up to the elevator. I fast travel to the other side and go up the elevator to Core Kinetics, selling all my weapons, and then I'll sit down in the chair in Core Kinetics and wait for 3 days to reset their credit supply, and then I'll go do that in reverse.
So yeah, there's the Trade Authority. There's Norwell's
Yeah.
shop. Then there's the other kind of snooty guy.
Oh yeah, the Emporium. Yeah, because those guys all buy everything. The weapon guys only buy weapons, and so
Right. So you want to go there first and specifically sell off
Yeah.
to them what
Yeah.
you can.
But what I realized too is what I should do is I should do Trade Authority to start selling spacesuits. Start there, then go to the weapon. Then of course, yeah, Neon or New Wells Goods, he'll buy spacesuits. He just doesn't have as many credits. So, and these Armada spacesuits are pretty valuable. Some of them are selling, I think, for like 8K. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, so you make a lot of money if you have the Dark Star mod where you can strip the spacesuits off because they're all equipped with the spacesuits naturally. So then it's nice that even though they don't have the Dark Star, they don't have their um, I don't think the official up or patch is out yet. There was some kind of a patch that I had to download for it for Dark Star, but I don't think it was the.
Not the integration with the Terran Armada yet.
Yeah. So
That's not it yet.
yeah,
It's still in queue to be reviewed.
okay.
I'm keeping a close eye on it.
Yeah, because the first thing I'll always do is I'll always make a run over to Paradiso to the Dark Star, storage boxes and run up there and see if any of the Terran weapons that have effects on them, see if I can strip them off. And yeah, so far no.
Right. Yeah.
Which is fine. Dark Star. That's a very deep mod, and it's gonna it takes time to get things right. So I'd rather them take their time, get it right. I can be.
It's already up for Bethesda to review it and approve it. So we're just waiting. I don't know. I keep hearing, well, it could be a week, it could be a month. It just depends on how many people are in front of me in the queue at the Bethesda testing. Verifying.
I'd like to think that for mods that are big like that have a lot of players, that they do bump them up to a queue, or maybe they should have like a separate team that reviews those bigger mods. If there's any major update to Watchtower, Dark Star, any of those big mods. I don't know. I usually don't like that. People jumping the queue, but a lot of players are held up on that. So it's like if you have a small mod, like we're going to be making mods this year. Like, if my mod takes a month because they need these bigger mods to be prioritized over mine, I totally understand. I'm not going to,
not me.
Like no, our little mod needs to happen first.
That's right.
So, okay, so
always tells me it'll just take you 5 minutes. Come on.
Yeah.
Do this first.
Just verify it. Hurry
just
up.
a few minutes.
All right. And so now that you have all 3 of your new black boxes, the first time you had to take him to Delta, who hacked him to find out where Roxanne was being held. This time you take the 3 boxes to Roxanne back at Anchor Point. Now at this point, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, at this point you have the option to talk to her about upgrading Delta. Because the first time she talked about doing it, you have a dialogue option to say, no, you should rest, chill out. Which, if you're role playing and you're a compassionate guy that wants a gal to just put her feet up, that's what you do. But if you're just min-maxing it, to have her fix it right away. Because his power definitely, I think it has increased range is what it does. And the shockwave. Yeah.
But then you can get it upgraded now
Yeah.
to where it's more powerful.
Mhm.
Just like your powers, when you upgrade your powers, they're either more distance or there's more damage done or it lasts longer. And I think his is it extends the range of this shockwave that goes out.
Yeah.
This EMP.
Yeah, and I definitely notice it now. Now that I know what to look for, because remember in our last recording, I was like, I don't even know what it is, but I think I might have just been killing guys that were under the little shock thing so fast and wasn't even processing what I was seeing. But
Right.
with the increased range, once you're on board the Unifier ship, fighting the robots, I definitely saw it a lot then. But yeah, so she'll upgrade the Delta, and then you have the final little battle strategy powwow with the Terrans. Now we're gonna get into the X-Tech core thing where there's the 3 side quests, one for each of the major factions, UC, Freestar, and Rise. We'll get into that more in our review episode. We'll any of the kind of the fluff stuff we'll talk about in the review episode. But just for the sake of this mission, I only did the United Colonies one because I was role playing my character, but I'm wondering if you do the other ones, will you have more people that will actually show up into the space battle, do you think? Or do you know?
No, I don't know because I ended up going back and doing the other 2 after I completed everything so that I
Okay.
could have. I've got 6 X-Tech miners at my
Okay.
base now. And
Okay.
they're all feeding into one storage unit. So as we're talking, my game in the other room is running.
Okay.
I'm
Smart.
mining
Yeah, yeah.
X-Tech.
Okay, now on that note, which of the factions did you build um the X-Tech core for? Do you remember?
UC. It was the
Okay,
UC
you
one
did
because
UC too.
I think I think it was the UC one because of the natural dialogue flow. As you're already talking to that dude, and
Yeah.
you get your next, waypoint, and he's like, "Oh yeah, and go build me this thing."
Yeah.
So
But when that
you don't
quest
realize that if you were to go and talk to the other 2, they maybe at that point they would give you their little side quest to go build theirs.
Well, no,
I
because
don't.
they all 3. As soon as you finish that conversation, um, at the end of the 4th mission, you get all three X-Tech cores right away. You get
Yeah, and
okay,
their little quest
and,
shows up under
and their quest,
activity.
yeah, the quest
It's
log.
under activities,
Yep.
not under
Oh no,
faction.
they're not under faction, but I think it's a side quest. But I see them in the all missions section. They were like right
Yeah.
there towards the top because I think that's
I didn't
chronological.
recognize what they were.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't do them. I didn't recognize them as a Terran mission because it doesn't have the little Terran emblem beside them.
Okay.
It's just got like an activity emblem beside it, like a little green
Well, in my
icon instead of the.
well, in my case, it's the icon of that faction. So
Is it?
like, yeah, it's so then that way because the title doesn't say anything about the faction, but the icon does. That's so it's a visual cue. Like, okay, you can, this is for the Freestar. So if there's any players that have done all 3, I'm curious if you have more reinforcements, more spaceships at the space battle here when you go to take on the Unifier ship. Because there's not a whole lot of actual strategy when you're doing the mission prepping. It would have been nice for them to have some dialogue where you like, okay, should we do the attack this way or that way or something? I don't, though, from a role play standpoint, it's almost kind of nice that you're not the one calling the shots. Because how many times does it happen in a Bethesda game where you're the new guy, you're the outsider, but you're in this group's entire battle strategy is going to depend on what you want to do, not what they want to do.
Everybody defers to you,
Yeah.
and you're like, I'm just the help.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, there's the one mission that I know you know what the name of it is. I don't remember the name of it. Is it the old neighborhood or where you got to go help the one guy and he's got some frenemies around and they all have to make a coalition and the 3 of you go and
failure to communicate.
Yes, that
Yeah,
one. Yeah,
that's one of my favorite
and don't
quests.
they actually talk in there that okay, well if you have one guy, you're not going to have much help, but if you have 2 guys in your coalition, more people will help you in the battle. If you have all 3 of us, we can really overpower them. And it actually walks you through all of that.
Yeah, because you just have to talk the other 2 family the representatives to join the fight. The one guy will do it. You don't even have to convince him. You just ask him and he does it. The gal though, the mayor, you have to do a persuasion check on her to get it. But then even then, you can still tell when it comes to the space battle, you can the planning for it. You can tell them, hey, sit this out. I'll go and handle the spaceships by myself, or you can have all of them join. And I always have them join, which almost always means 1 or 2 of them is going to die. But I mean, I don't know, it's like the way I see it. It's like from a role playing standpoint, these guys need to fight for their solar system. So if they lose a ship in the process, I mean, that's going to help solidify the sacrifice, the camaraderie, hopefully, that, if they've lost ships together, they're like, we lost guys for this. We need to hold this alliance together.
That's the same thing like in real life. Sorry.
That's all right.
Anytime you have deal with law enforcement or you deal with a military planning, the very first thing is attack with overwhelming power.
Exactly.
We're going to go into a house and we're going to take out 1 guy. Well, we need 15 guys to go do that.
Yeah.
Because you want to be so overwhelming that your opposition has no opportunity to succeed in any way.
Yeah.
And just get the battle over as quick as possible. That way the fewest people die and we get the objective done.
Exactly.
And that's what you're saying is the more ships we can take, the quicker we can take them out, the more quickly we can get the objective.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And so, so they basically tell you what the plan is to go after the Unifier ship. And then you jump to the system and the battle kicks off. You have to destroy these 4 shield generators that protect it. And then meanwhile, there's Terran ships flying around, and when you first get there's a UC ship that's there. I can't remember what the ship is called, but it said UC something, and the guy's talking. I'm trying to remember if it was the UC guy in the void, because there's the UC guy with the mustache. He always reminds me of Viper from Top Gun.
Okay.
Yeah, if you remember Viper. Viper in the movie Top Gun, the first one, Viper was he was the director of the Top Gun school that Maverick was at.
Gotcha. Yes, now I remember. Okay.
Yeah, there was Viper, Jester, who was played by Michael Ironsides. I can't remember. Tom Jarrett, I think, was the actor who played Viper. He was also in that space camp movie that came out like a year or 2 later, where the space shuttle accidentally launched off with the kids on board. That was one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid. Anyways, so and then there's the Freestar older lady, and then the black guy, the younger black guy he's got a Ryusian suit, right? Yeah, Ryusian guy. He's got the dreadlocks. So I wonder if you do the X-Tech core, for the other one, if all the other factions will show up, Freestar and use the Ryusian. But I'm also wondering, if you don't do the UC one, will that UC ship not be there, or is he always there anyways? Because I can't quite remember if that was specifically the UC representative that you talked to at the Void headquarters. But regardless, you take out all these shield generator things. It's kind of like the indoor thing, right? The indoors, the Empire has the shield generator on the planet that's protecting the Death Star overhead. Similar concept. So you take out these 4 shield generators while you're having a space battle against the other guys. And I have my difficulty settings on full hard, and it wasn't that challenging. I mean, I at times I got like half my structure on my ship taken down, but I didn't have a hard time with this whole space fight. I don't know how you fared, but
I didn't have any problems either.
Mm-hmm.
And I think since you have friends with you, they don't swarm you particularly. They're busy swatting at the other, fighting amongst themselves. your
Yeah.
friends are fighting their friends, and so they're not everybody focused. If you go to a capital ship in the game and you run into like the ecliptic capital ship,
Mm-hmm.
and it's being protected by 3 or 4 or 5 other ships, they all swarm you. And so
Yeah.
your first objective is to just bum rush through and take out a ship and do a flyby, and then I'll circle
Yep.
around and I'll take out a second ship, and I'll do this like looping figure 8, fly
Yeah.
through, take out ship, right? Because they're all focused on you. You're getting 4 sets of guns focused on you on the capital ships. Well, this one, I think it's easier because you have friends. Just like in the Watchtowers ones, it's easier because
Yeah.
you have friends.
Yeah.
Not everything is focused on you. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's why I partly wish I have already done the Watchtower quest, because for space battles like this, it'd be awesome to have, a couple of my actual friends piloting ships, right? Um, but I'll have to do that on my space trucker eventually.
Make sure that everything is updated because I know
Yeah.
when this first came out, they said don't run the Watchtower fleet against the Terran Armada because
Yeah.
it will really jack your game up. I don't know exactly. I never did it. So by that point, I had already played Watchtower several times, and so I didn't reload it for this playthrough because it takes up a lot of space and it's got a lot of ID handles that I'm trying to be aware of you know,
Yeah.
how many ID handles I'm having in my save so that I don't run out and have a bunch of jittery gameplay.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I figure, as far as doing the Watchtower, actually downloading it again, because I bought it and then I never have downloaded it and even played it. So it's just like bought it like goodness, practically when it came out. So it's probably been a year. But, me, I haven't even played the Ryujin quest line. So
The the main guy that's walking you through the Watchtowers, his name is Torin, and he's a pretty cool fella.
yeah, I heard
He's
he's
a
kind of
good
like a Tony Stark-esque character.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So back to the space battle against the Unifier. You take out the shields, and then I was at that point. I was like, cool, the shields are down. I'm going to start taking out the enemy ships, and of course, I've got Galactic Harvest on, so I've got my 200 my barbecue rib plate, so I've got like 200% bonus to XP, and I realized enemy ships will infinitely spawn. They grab jump in infinite.
Hmm.
So as long as this would be if you stockpile a bunch of uh, skill points, have like 3 or 4
Hmm.
skill points, go into this mission and just do for your ship like upgrade skills, either for your weapons or whatever you need to upgrade in a space battle. As
Hmm.
long as you're a decent pilot and I guess you can adjust your skill settings however you want. You can just basically harvest ship kills out of this, just to upgrade your
Right.
skills. Because man,
Hmm.
I was leveling up and getting a ton of kills on this, but eventually I realized, oh, these guys are just coming in infinitely. And
Right.
but I must have been in that space battle for 10 minutes or so, and then I saw like a grav drive flash. Like,
Hmm.
oh, I was like,
Yeah, that was exactly my experience also. I was fighting and fight. Okay, I got to take these guys out, and then I'll go handle the big ship. But then you get a notification that says a notification. I'm sorry about the dog, guys. You get a notification that tells you to go board the nullifier, and you're like, oh, they're just gonna keep coming. So I need
yeah.
to just get over there
Well,
and
before you board it, you do have to disable it, and you have to actually attack it for a while. And I just, for whatever reason, I wasn't doing that because, well, yeah, usually before I go to board something, I like to destroy all the enemy ships around it so that as I'm boarding, I'm not getting shot at, right? That's just kind of the
right.
idea. Well,
Hmm.
yeah. So once I realized, I pulled up my quest log to look at it. I'm like, what's going on? And it says disable Unifier. I'm like, oh, okay. So disabled it, then you can dock to it, just like a normal thing. But there's a reason it's actually cool that they infinitely spawn, because as you're navigating through the Unifier, there's at points that there's these massive windows, and you can look out the window and see the space battle unfold outside still.
Right.
So that was just awesome
Yeah.
to see that.
That's one of the things about this game that people just don't. When you tell them you can build your spaceship and then you can go inside your spaceship and you can look outside of your spaceship when you talk, they don't realize that this is all actually a cohesive world,
Yeah.
cohesive existence. Like, the inside and the outside is real. The sizes are real. You can
Yeah.
move inside and look outside, and it's real space. It's where most other games, it's just a different instance, and they don't really have to match up size for size.
Yeah. 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 Because even when you're in the photo mode outside of when you're in your ship and you go to photo mode, and now you can fly the camera around your ship and stuff. When you fly the camera into the ship, it doesn't necessarily load everything, like all the decor and stuff, but the habs are all there. So you can, I think they're kind of empty. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I've done that, but yeah, like, so if you have, you've got a control room right behind your cockpit, and then you got a captain's quarters next to it. If you fly into it, you can tell that's the shape of the control room. And then you fly into the captain's quarters, and you can tell based on the walls, yeah, this is the captain's quarters.
Right.
So,
if you do that and you've got some companions on the bridge with you, you can look into the bridge and they're there on the bridge with you as you're flying the camera outside of the ship, and you come by and zoom into. You're like, oh, there they are. They're all sitting in their spaces where I just left them.
Yeah. Or sometimes they're standing up right in front of your pilot seat, blocking your view, but they're just like,
yeah. Exactly.
There should be something where when you sit in your captain's seat, every crew member will automatically fill up seats in the bridge. That way, if you want to get some action shots, you can, And like there's some of them, like the big Kontiki bridge, the large one, has like, you go up the ladder, and right behind the ladder is just a little single console or computer screen right there with some controls and stuff. That'd be cool if somebody like would be standing there at that, at the back, or if it's one like the Deimos Bridge or any of the bridges that have the little navigation console that people they'd be standing around with their like hands put on it or something. I don't know. That'd be just kind of neat. It'd be cool for some pictures. But yeah, so going into the Unifier ship, pretty straightforward. Again, very similar to the incursion fights. But this is just a totally unique ship because, like I was saying before, it has the huge windows on either side. But when you first go in, I happen to go. There's I think a door on the right that you have to hack into, I believe, or maybe not. But it's the Admiral's ship. Very important to go in here because there's some antique weapons. There's an antique revolver, and there was something else. I was just spamming, and I just saw the word.
There's an old antique revolver.
Okay.
There's what looks like a German Luger.
Okay.
Completely new model for the game, so you've never seen that before. And there is a World War II style grease gun. Yeah. Tommy gun. So I somehow have lost the Luger, but I still have the revolver and the grease gun, and I got them put away safe.
Okay.
Somehow, again, it's like when you've got 150 guns to sell, you're just like sell. Oh, oops. So if you don't catch it in time, it's gone forever. But whenever the new Dark Star Total Game Overhaul patch comes through, I'll be able to make that gun again. So that'll be cool. I'll play with that a little bit. It'll be fun to have a Luger and a grease gun. Yep. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and that's because it's the captain's room basically, and she's an admiral. And there's also a computer console in there that's very important to read. Yep. But there was entry 1, 2, and 4. It said 1, 2, 4. So I thought I would come across the third one somewhere else, but I never found it. So I don't know if that was a bug or they just mislabeled it 1, 2, 4 and should be 1, 2, 3. But it gives you this is how the Terran Armada formed if you read through these. And based on how Terran Armada is introduced to the game, you kind of think this is like a breakaway society that has been hidden for decades upon decades and just slowly built. It's kind of like the one that one ship that's traveling to Paradiso. It's that ship leaves Earth before the grav drives are invented. So it's a generational ship. And so
Right.
they've been flying super fast, but it's taken them a couple hundred
Well,
years
yeah,
for that
they're,
ship to make
they're
it.
still only doing 70% of light speed, so
Yeah,
it's still,
yeah. And so
30, 40 years away.
that's what I thought
Years
the
away.
Terran Armada was, where it's just they've
Mhm.
been out there in their own little pocket, and have finally decided to invade. That's not the case at all. The
Mm-mm.
admiral for the Terran Armada was a United Colonies admiral,
Mhm.
and if I read this correctly, if I interpreted it right, there at one point there was supposed to be a battle between Freestar and UC, and this
Yeah.
admiral and the Freestar admirals were just totally jaded over this whole war, the colony war, and
Mhm.
they joined forces and somehow were able to convince everybody on both their respective factions that this major
Well, yeah,
space battle was a total loss for both sides.
they were so far in the outer rim, I guess, to take a term from another show.
Yeah.
Um, they were so far out there, there was not a lot of communication going on.
Hmm.
And they were the highest two ranking officers in this battle, and their instructions were to go destroy the other fleet.
Yeah.
And they get there and they rendezvous and they kind of start talking to each other and like, hey, why are we giving our lives and all of our soldiers' lives for them way back there?
Hmm.
And the other guy's like, yeah, this makes no sense. Why don't we just join forces and we can just fly off into the sunset and we've got everything we need?
Yep.
So they flew off and decided that they're going to, they're not going to fight for those planets. There's no need.
Yeah.
Is that
Well,
what you understood?
yeah, that's kind of how I interpreted it. And but the irony is that they do that, and then they decide to reinvade, attacking the colonies, which makes them no different than the Free Star or the United Colonies.
Well, yeah, because then, yeah, everything that they just decided that they're standing for, they're just going to go back and basically they just put the entire war on pause until
Yeah.
they return. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, what's the point of that? Why did you even come back?
Yeah. I mean, based like they want to destroy the Free Star and the United Colonies and run the galaxy. I mean, basically, they started off good, but then they turned fascist really quick. It's like
Right.
it's like
Not
wait a
even
minute,
a whole
wait,
generation. It's
yeah,
still the same
yeah,
admiral. So, oh, and in the admiral's room, there's also a couple of things that I like to collect. There's an ancient compass,
yes, yeah.
there's an ancient sextant, and there's an ancient sextant case.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, I saw the ancient sextant, but I didn't see the ancient compass or the case. I'll have to get.
So
Oh, well, I
when
can't go
you
back in
if
there. The
you're
ship blew
sitting
up.
at his desk, if you're sitting at the admiral's desk and
Okay.
looking out their door, there's like a mantle shelf. That's where
Okay.
the compass is, and then
Okay.
behind him over. If you're sitting at his desk, behind him over his right shoulder, there's another set of shelves, and that's where the sextant and the sextant case are. So these are cool
Okay.
maritime
Yeah.
objects that I like to kind of dot around my ship's
Yeah.
captain's quarters because it's just kind of, he's the captain of a ship. That kind of stuff is cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think all those are in the base game, though. I know I've come
Yeah.
across an antique compass, but yeah,
Mhm.
it's always fun when you come across those, and for the same reason you are. I love having that kind of stuff in my captain's quarters because yeah, it's just kind of neat. It's just like remembering where we were, and the thought of these, you know, this to them
War
it'd be
trophy.
ancient history, right? From
Yeah.
the late Middle Ages, up until the 17th, 18th, 19th century, ships
My
navigated by stars.
Listen to this. And this is a little off topic, but it's very similar, very relevant. My brother-in-law used to fly C-130s. He's promoted out of being a pilot now. He's telling the pilots what to do. But they were in a different part of the world, we'll say,
Okay.
and they were having some problems with their radar, and he actually had to break out the sextant and read the stars and navigate by the stars out of the cockpit of a C-130 while flying across no man's land in order to get to the place. So they still teach that to this day, how
Oh, that's
to
pretty cool.
use the equipment and fly by the stars. Because what happens? I mean, yeah, if your
Yeah.
equipment goes down, your radar goes down, you have no idea where you are.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to teach you a trick. Check
Yep.
this out. So it's
Yep.
still relevant. They still teach that stuff.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry for the tangent, but
No,
I
no,
thought it was neat.
yeah, that's really neat to know that they still do that. But yeah, it's just really cool to think like, you're flying your captain, you're flying your ship around, you're sitting in your captain's quarters, and you have these ancient artifacts that would be that ships on the ocean would sail through the stars, and now you're in a spaceship, literally, or
In
it
the
would use
stars.
this stars to navigate, and now you are literally in the stars. It's really just a
Yeah.
cool concept. Um, so yeah, so you continue the fight. You get through. There's a huge room with this big spinning thing, and
That's what I was talking about last week, and I was confusing
oh
last week with this fight.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
there's a big drum that turns, and it's got a big crossbar in it that's
yeah,
turning, and it's a big drum. Yeah, you
and
got to make your way through
mhm.
that.
And it has an effect that looks like an electrical charge on it. So at first I thought, and like you can see through the gap as it's spinning, and it's spinning slow enough where you can you know jump through it. But
Mhm.
I was a little concerned that that electrical field would hurt me. So I was looking around for some kind of like there's got to be a control panel to stop that thing, but there isn't. Just time it right, jump
Isn't
through it,
there a
you're fine.
staircase that goes up to a side catwalk that you can get around it?
Is that what happened? That might have been what happened when the gravity was on.
I think there is, because I think coming back, there's two battles. You got to go through this area to get
Mhm.
to the other end of the ship, and so you fight everybody, and you get further on. But then when you're coming back, as you're um, fleeing the ship after it's getting ready to be destroyed, you get to this area again, and there's another battle. And I've
Yeah.
seen guys. I'm pretty sure I've seen guys going up and around that thing and coming off the other side to
Oh,
shoot at
okay.
me, and I'm like, oh, they can go over there too. So
That might be the case. I was a bit out of it when I was doing this mission, but
there's
I'm
a lot of nooks and crannies and
yeah,
different spaces, and they start to all blend together for me
yeah.
when I'm thinking about what space I was in.
Hmm.
Was I in 0G or not 0G? Was that a two-story space? Was because
Yeah.
in some of the spots, some of the incursions, you go into a ship and there's a big human like dining hall, and it's got all these long
Oh, yeah.
tables like a dining
And
dining
the
hall.
catwalks all around up above it,
Yeah, there's
and
cat,
yeah,
right. So that's one of the POIs is that one. Then there's another one where it's like these long corridors, and on each side there's the Terran robots hanging, and so you can have like four robots, and then you
yeah,
go
yeah.
further to the next space, and there's four more robots, and they're all in these like cages, like you would have in a um like a warehouse or something. But anyway, that's yeah, that big spinning drum thing was
Mhm.
what I was talking about last week.
Gotcha.
I kind of got sidetracked. Sorry, folks.
Yeah. So you get through that you get then and there's another kind of there's two like main little firefights you have, or pretty decent sized firefights I should say. There's two main firefights you have. Then you go up an elevator to the bridge,
Mhm.
and that's where the admiral is. That the captain's quarters we were talking about a minute ago, and you do have a brief conversation with her. I don't think there's any way to
I don't think you
peacefully
could
end
talk her down.
this. No,
No.
um, but my character, kind of this combat medic, he'll try to avoid conflict if it seems like these if people are legit good people or innocent people, you know,
Hmm.
um, or but it doesn't take him long to say, all right, screw it, let's go. And so get into a pretty fun firefight on the bridge. You've got her, and she's it's got three traits. She's a boss. She's got three
Hmm.
traits. And then you have a bunch of Terrans hop out, robots, and then there's at least two human Terrans running around. They're in my case they're opposite. So I run around, hosed all the weak guys, and then focused on her. But what was it
Keep,
then?
keep your eyes open when you're around here. I can't remember exactly the location, but if you're having difficulty getting into her estate room because it's locked and your skill isn't high enough, or for whatever reason, maybe you forgot digipicks and you're like, ah, dang it, you can find a key. You can find her key to her room, and you
Oh,
can
it's
go
somewhere on
back.
the bridge there.
Somewhere,
Okay.
yeah, somewhere in the ship. I'm not sure if it's the room right before the bridge, or if it's on the bridge, sitting like on a desk or something. But keep your eye out for her estate room key, and then you can have access to go back and loot all her stuff.
Okay. Okay. I'm wondering, was it on her body or was it on a desk somewhere? You don't
Again,
remember?
I can't remember, but
I
I
mean,
do remember breaking into the room, stealing all the stuff, and then later on finding the key, going, look what I found.
well, because that knowing where it's at might be pretty relevant. If it's on her body, then it's simple. Regardless, once you kill her, you can get it. But what'll happen here and momentarily is the gravity's going to get turned off.
Mhm.
And then, so sometimes I've seen like very important items like that, even though the gravity gets turned off and a lot of things might start floating away.
Mhm.
Something like that will stay there unless it's been knocked loose with an explosion. Then it would be
Right,
floating
right.
around. So it's like certain items will be kind of like coded to be stationary,
Mhm.
even if gravity gets turned off. Um,
Right.
but so yeah, so at this point now, Delta, once you've killed her and the rest of once you've cleared the room, Delta goes up to a console and he's going to hack in and try to shut down this Terran Armada thing. And then this is where the big discussion, the big choice
Right.
happens, and
So
it's
earlier, there was
mm,
an option to talk with Roxanne, and she
oh
wants
true,
to discuss with you, hey, I mean, we figured out that there's a lot of innocent lives on here. Do everything you can to save these innocent lives. And you get to either tell her, hey, this is, war is war. People are going to die. Or you can tell her, oh, I'll do my best job to be goody two shoes. And
yeah,
that's one conversation. It doesn't hold you to
true.
anything.
And that's way back at the
Then you
very
have,
beginning of this, before even
right.
yeah. So we should have mentioned it at the time, but you're right. Yeah,
Yeah. When you go and turn in the black boxes and get the coordinates from her, that you can have this conversation with her about how moral or not moral you're going to be.
yeah.
But now it's rubber meets the road at this point.
Yeah, I took the middle of the road option of just saying kind of like, yeah, I'll do what I can, but the Terrans haven't left us with much choice, right? And
That's what it
so,
was. Yeah.
yeah, and so yeah, at this point, and I sat there for a little moment. I actually had to process this. This was probably the most significant choice because all the major faction quests always have a big choice at the end. And for
Hmm.
me, from a role playing standpoint, they're usually cut and dried. If I'm playing a character that's a certain way, this is the obvious choice. But here it is. My guy's a combat medic. Now he's got a bit of a meaner streak to him, and he doesn't handle any crap, and he goes through and he eliminates his enemies. But now we're talking innocent lives.
Hmm.
Um, so, however, when I thought about it, I decided to go ahead and what we're talking about is Delta can hack in the Terran network and make all the robots just like she did in the previous mission when you rescued her, where she made all the robots in that mining the space station, that mining facility, turn on the Terrans, and then that one innocent janitor got killed by a Terran. So she Delta can now do it to the entire Terran Armada fleet across the whole galaxy.
Yeah. We find out
Um,
they're all networked into this
mhm,
one bridge. And
yeah,
so,
and so it's like you're going to do that, and and the Terrans will just simply go after humans. Period. And which in doing so will shut down incursions. It'd be like ending the Oblivion Gate crisis, right? You're not going to have any more
mhm,
Oblivion Gates open, or you can delete the file. The incursions will still continue to happen, but you've cut the head off the snake. So they're going to probably be more isolated things happening.
right.
Yeah.
But with that choice, you've saved the dishwasher and the janitor
Hmm.
and the guy that washes the sheets for the whole army,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But you've also extended the war, and now some of your pilots are going to die. Some of your friends may die. Some of your
Yeah.
soldiers are going to be in more battles than they would have had to. It's the whole many little bombs or one big bomb.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's definitely times where I think choosing the latter option would be better. To try to avoid the loss of life. But when it came down to it, for me, I'm like, all right, it sucks that there might be some innocent janitors that maybe got conscripted, or maybe it was the only life they knew. I mean, although the thought did occur to me, I'm like, wait a minute, the Terran Armada is not a breakaway society that's been, building up, had a culture for decades upon decades. They're 20 years old at most. I can't remember how old the Colony War was, but if the gal was
Right.
already an admiral then, yeah.
It's
So
fresh enough that what's his name that's down in Section 7 in New Atlantis is still around.
exactly, yeah. So this isn't some breakaway society where you have some innocent people that just grew up in that culture and this is all they knew. I mean, those people I can understand making the case to not want to kill them or not want to see them die. But in this case, like this whole fleet's not that old. So I think most
Right. And
everybody,
so they're military vessels, and so
yeah,
even if he is a janitor, he's a soldier first. And then go look in any
yeah,
military
hmm
anywhere, you're going to have your soldiers. They're all going to go through basic training. They're all taught how to use a gun. They're all taught combat tactics. And then you're taught how to use a radar or cook for 5,000 troops at once,
yeah,
or run a nuclear submarine, or whatever your other task is. But first and foremost, you're taught to be a soldier.
exactly,
So
exactly.
if you keep that mindset, you're like, yeah, these are all my enemy, and I am tasked with taking out my enemy.
hmm Yeah,
I didn't think about that. I didn't think long enough through that
yeah,
I may have chose differently. Next
yeah.
time I do it, I may choose differently.
It might have been to my favor that I was so tired because it almost made me really stop. I mean, and sit on that screen and think all this through. But the deciding factor for me was this: even if those people with the Terran Armada are innocent, it sucks. But with all these incursions happening, when an incursion happens, it shuts down grav jumping out of that system. So how many innocent people are going to die because now they can't leave the system? They need a grav jump away from. They're a massed vehicle. There's some colonists and they're wanting to colonize a planet. They jump in. They're exploring the solar system, and they get attacked by spacers. And usually, what would they do? Jump out. They can't jump out because the incursion happened. So there's
Right.
way more risk of innocent life with that one that are truly not even related to this conflict. Except for the Terrans have invaded their system and popped off this incursion and shut down grav jumping. And so it's like at once that thought hit me, I'm like, okay, it's sad, but it's simple and sad. So I sent out the thing to end the incursions. Now, purely from a
I've never
gameplay
done that.
perspective.
How'd that go?
Oh, you always keep the incursions going?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because I'm trying to save all the poor little innocent janitors, and
gotcha.
and I never really kind of worked it out like we just did, and thought
Yeah,
about it and went, okay, well, there's this side, but there's also this side. You know, how can I save more people? Well,
yeah,
when it comes down to it, how can I save more of my people?
yeah,
Right?
yeah. And
I'm on
that
I'm
is,
on I'm on a side here. I am actually on a side,
yeah,
right? And so I need to try to defend my people and do the best to make sure that my side survives the best as possible. And that choice is, sorry to say, the choice you made, I think.
yeah. Well, and with my character being a combat medic, United Colonies native, the idea is that the colony war happened prior to his enlistment, but if it was still going on while he signed up, then he would have been fighting against the Free Star. And
Hmm.
so the idea is that, yeah, there's going to be an enemy ship at some point where there's a cook on board and he's going to die. Is
Hmm.
what it is. And so um, now I haven't played much with the game after it, so just mechanically speaking, I think the obvious main difference is that the incursions will continue. If your choice with the incursions continue, my choice they're cut
Hmm.
off.
That's what I wanted to hear
So
about.
it's purely
So
a
the next
gameplay
couple of
thing.
times you play, I want to see, do they actually stop and that's it? And you
Yeah,
don't have any more concursions at all, huh?
yeah. Well,
Okay.
I'll spend a good amount of time playing on the character because there's two things I want to clarify now that I've ended the incursions. The first
Hmm.
being if I am just traveling around the galaxy, well, I come across random fleets of Terrans, like a Terran enforcer. So the incursion is not active, but the ship is there, and if I board it, will there be a bunch of dead Terrans and robots? Will it be like a derelict ship floating because they've killed each other
Right.
off, right?
Right.
And maybe one side or the other was victorious, so there's maybe all the robots are dead and there's a couple of humans alive left and they're just floating there, or vice versa, all the humans are dead, a couple of robots are left, right? So that's the first
Yeah,
thing I
that's
need
what I'm really
to
I'm really
determine.
curious to see how that turns out for you
Yeah.
because I've not made this choice, and so yeah, I want to see I want to know what it is, what
Yeah.
happens.
And the second thing I need to determine is, assuming there's no Terran ships anymore, maybe they just all are removed from existence, even though there are. Well, that's one thing I should do is and I might have to load a previous save to see the quest log, but I have several minor incursions that have showed up, right? And I just haven't gone and done them because I was trying to speed through the main quest. So what I'll do is I'll look at where I'll load that save. I'll go and I'll see exactly where that ship is in that solar system. Then I'll back out of that save and I'll load up my current save, having ended the incursions, go to that exact same system to where that incursion is supposed to be at and see if the ship just happens to be there. So I'll do that.
Right.
But then the second thing I need to know is, does this now unlock all of the Terran equipment, their guns, their armor, their outfits? Does this unlock them now to start seeing that stuff populated at merchants? You would think it would, like all these ships out there, all that stuff should start trickling into the economy.
Right.
And if not, then by this point, hopefully, somebody already has, a good Terran gun if they want to keep it. The 7.62 one or that the dogfight gun, whatever that one was.
Mhm.
Hopefully, if players have liked this armor and guns, they've already acquired it. Because if ending the incursions means you don't get to come across that stuff anymore, then that would be a little sad. But
Right. Yeah. See if it starts appearing on Anchor Point also
yeah,
at those vendors.
mhm.
That would
I
be the first place logically that stuff would start
yeah,
showing up.
and I could see them saying like, yeah, this is going to be the only merchant that sells it in the game after the quest ends. That would be fine. I mean, although the incursions happen all over, so in theory, any merchant around should have it. But if that's the one place you can get it, then that'd be cool. But I mean,
Yep.
yeah, that will be. I will update when we do our Terran Armada overall review. I'll have an answer for you guys on that. And our next recording should be the morning of July 4th. So, um, yeah, we'll probably. So that's a couple weeks out, right? 2 weeks, yeah. So I'll have enough time to dive into that a little bit over the next couple weeks.
Yeah. And make sure that you're talking to all of your void folks down in the basement of the
Mhm.
bar because there is some little stuff that still has not been completed. They're side questy kind of stuff,
Mhm.
but it kind of ties up some loose ends and helps answer a few questions and neat stuff. I had one in particular thing where uh, Delta starts popping off if you have him as your companion and you're just cruising around, whatever.
Mhm.
He decides that he should be the boss because he's an AI and they're better. And so there's a series of challenges that there's one, and then you can do it right now, or you can save it for later. And then once you complete that one, he comes up with a second one going, well, no, we're not done. We've got another one. And I think there's a total of 3 steps. And
Okay.
you complete one, and then it'll go, then, he'll be like, okay, whatever. And then maybe an hour of gameplay later on, he'll come up and go, hey, I've got another quest that we're going to do. I've got another test, another challenge for humans versus robots. And so to prove that robots are better. So it kind of draws it out. This is
Gotcha.
it's just kind
And
of a
this
neat
is like
thing.
his affinity quest
His
or whatever.
affinity. Yeah, I
Okay.
think so. I think this is kind of his affinity quest line.
Gotcha.
But so make sure you keep your eye out for those kind of things, guys. It's there's a lot of little stuff that I am still come across and go, oh, I haven't done that yet. I've never done that yet. So in true Bethesda fashion, there's some little Easter eggs or
Yep.
little side quests that you don't run into unless you're vigilant in playing and go across every
Yeah.
nook and cranny and open every door and check every drawer and lift up every carpet. So yeah, there's
Yeah.
still fun to be had.
Yeah, and that's why we decided to do one more episode, because there's just a little bit of stuff like this that we can kind of wrap into an overall review of the quest line, because we've tried. I think we've mostly tried to refrain from giving our review kind of commentary on it as a whole so far, just focusing on the missions in each episode.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that'll be definitely fun to get into all that on our next recording. So in 2 weeks.
A
So
couple of weeks we'll
yeah, 4th of
marinate
July.
in this stuff. We'll
So
marinate in this stuff a little bit, and then in a couple of weeks we'll give our thoughts.
yep. So what I'll do too is I'll go back through all of these podcasts and look through some of the YouTube comments and just kind of aggregate some data on players' comments and what they liked or didn't like, or recapping some bugs maybe, and seeing. Yeah, so we'll get into all that. Yeah, 4th of July, and then after that, that's when my workload slows down a little bit, and I'll be home a little more, and we'll start doing our recordings.
So our format will change a little bit.
Yeah,
We'll probably still have some of this kind of stuff, but I think our main format, we want to try to learn how to make mods.
Yeah,
and we've been wanting to learn how to make mods for quite a few months now, so it's time to jump in.
Yep,
I need
gonna
help.
Be a good time.
So Kenny's going to help me out.
Yeah, and what we'll do is we'll still do. Yeah, oh, and I was thinking about it. We'll still just do the Crimson Fleet. We'll go as far as our gameplay and our actual episode recordings for the Starfield Report podcast. We'll go ahead and do the Crimson Fleet. That does mean we're going to go through it a little slower than we do with the typical quest, because we might only do one mission every 2 or 3 weeks. But eventually we'll get through the Crimson Fleet quest line. In between, though, we'll be doing screen records, just like here on YouTube. We'll be recording us doing modding related stuff, learning how to mod. And so those episodes won't be uploaded as on the podcast itself, because it's going to be very visual based content. So it'll only be on YouTube. I'll probably create a new playlist on my YouTube channel, Jackson Kinney modding Starfield or whatever. And that way you guys can follow along and learn with us as we're learning how to mod. So those videos will not have the production, the same production quality. I won't have opening credits or anything fancy, like no music, just pretty much just basic dry videos. But
we're also discussing, I've got a niece that makes t-shirts. So we're kind of discussing between me and you making some shirts. And if you listeners are interested in merch, maybe we get a merch line going. I don't know what the interest would be. I don't know what the startup cost would be for merchandise. I've never done anything like this before. So if there is a large interest, then I can look further into it. If not, then I'm just going to have a few shirts made, a couple for you, a couple for me.
Yeah.
But if there's an interest, maybe we can make some extras and sell them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe not make a whole lot of money, but get the brand out there. That'd be kind of cool.
Yep. Or do giveaways or something like that. So
yeah.
But that'd be fun. I'll just have to get a proper logo done, because I like our new logo that I did with the circle with our 2 helmets, but
the one that's on the Discord right now. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, it's got my favorite helmet in the game is the Explorer one, and yours is the Deep Seeker. I think Deep Seeker is probably the most favorite helmet in the game across most players, because a lot of players like the blacked out visor or face shield, and there's only 2 in the vanilla game that have a blacked out face shield. I think the Deep Seeker and then the Shock Troop.
Shock Troop, yes.
The Shock Troop's more of just a round black one,
right?
So I like the Shock Troop suit, because it's like a red cloth, but then the very dark gray, almost black armor all over it, and it's not a big poofy suit. I cannot stand the big poofy suits. Like the Deep Seeker suit is very puffy.
Right. Deep Seeker suit is. But the helmet's the coolest helmet in the game, so it's kind of pick your poison.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to be walked.
Put that Deep Seeker helmet along with I think it's the like the heavy what is it? Trackers Alliance heavy armor.
Okay.
Is that the one with the big pauldron on the one side that looks like it's got leather down the side of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that deep seeker helmet on it looks pretty good.
Okay.
This is where I wish that they had paintable outfits. Just like you can paint your ship, I think
Yep.
it would be really cool to be able to paint your spacesuit.
Yeah, because most of the spacesuits only have like up to 3 main color sections, so they could do literally the same concept: color 1,
Mhm.
color 2, color 3. You just change the colors around. I mean,
Right.
I would almost rather to have that than any new apparel added to the game, or new spacesuits added to the game. Because if you can change the colors, it you know like I
It'd give you
really
infinite options of different because there's some
yeah,
we've talked about this before. You walk through the town and you're like, that looks pretty cool, but I'm not going to wear a pink and green outfit.
yeah.
If it was brown and gray or black and blue,
Mhm.
that might look pretty cool, but I'm not going to wear that. That looks atrocious.
Yeah.
Atrocious.
Well, so my combat medic, I wear, it's one of the UC Navy outfits. It doesn't have all the extra stuff all over it. There's one that I can't remember what that one's called. It's the suit I wear, but it's got all this stuff on it, so it's got a different name. But it's got like a shoulder pad and some basic looking armor. But it doesn't look too bulky. And so I might just put that on Hadrian, but for a while I was running her with there's like one of those utility suits. But I really like the Terran outfit, and so I put there's like the crew helmet. It's not a space helmet. It's like it's a hat, right? So, but it's a helmet, so it looks like a combat helmet. Plus the outfit that kind of matches that, where it's like an armored outfit. I love the look of it, except for the color.
It's like
Because
their officer's outfit or their security outfits. Is that I think that's what
no,
you're talking about.
no. Well, I think I think it might be called the security one then. It's not the officer one because that one almost I think has a leatherish look to it. There's a crew outfit, but yeah, this one it's the Terran outfit that looks like it's kind of like a slight armor, like a combat, suit. Um,
Mhm.
and so, but if I could just change the color, because with her being the whole Red Devil thing, I have a
Or remove the
Mars outfit.
patch.
What's that?
Or remove the patch.
Yeah,
That's the one thing that's really
yeah.
frustrating a lot of times where you're like, I would like to wear, the Crimson Fleet captain's outfit. That's a pretty cool outfit, but it's got all this Crimson Fleet. Can I just like take that off? Right? I
Hmm.
don't want to wear a UC security guard outfit, but that security guard outfit's pretty cool if we could just take the UC logo off of it.
I should message the mod author, assuming they're still active, that did the Ebside Striker suits.
Hmm.
Because those are awesome looking suits, but they're all shiny, and this mod, there's just a solid black variant of it, right? So I should message him and see if he can make the Crimson Fleet without the patches. Just strip the patches off,
We are going to be doing something with
or
that kind of stuff for too long.
we might be able to figure it out ourselves when we're in our
Right?
modding.
I mean, that could be an actual project that we consider doing,
Well, the
is making
downside though is,
skins.
I mean, I can see
And it's
changing the
just basically
color.
skin packs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I can see changing the color easy to do in the creation kit. But
Mhm.
if those patches and stuff are like actually part of the whole sleeve, like maybe there's like a chunk of it, it's just all, that would be the one issue we would have. But if when you're looking, if you get in the creations kit and you look at an outfit and then it's like a ship where each section is different, well, it should be. There should totally be something to that effect, because that bug came back where Newell and Neon, the Neon vendor, Newell with the
Mhm.
curly hair,
Mhm.
the orange part of his suit is gone again. So when I walk up to him, I just see his floating head, and I see
Yeah.
his pants and something on his arms, but all the orange part's gone. So that is
Yeah, wow.
clearly a different part of his suit. So hopefully the patches on the Crimson Fleet stuff is
Right.
actually its own thing, and you can just like click delete and
Change
then
the texture,
save it.
which would at that point, that's
Yeah,
what you're doing when you're doing custom textures is you're changing some of that stuff. So
yeah,
yeah, we'll figure it out.
yeah. We'll figure it out. So, all right. Well, it's been a good doing this final mission here, and we'll definitely do, like we were saying earlier, we'll do a Terran Armada review That'll be recorded, should be July 4th in the morning. And so we got a couple weeks. So if you have any feedback for the Terran Armada quest line as a whole, send that in to starfieldreport@gmail.com. If you have any pictures of your ship and you just want to show it off, we will showcase it. That's our love. Our number one love in this game is our shipbuilding. So if you're a shipbuilder like us and you want the whole audience to see your ships, go ahead and send in pictures of it, and we'll showcase them during the next episode. I think that's it for me. Anything else, Jax?
Nope, just life's a participation sport, folks. Drive fast, take lots of chances.
All right, well, we will see you in the Starfield.
Then let me be the first to officially welcome you to the United Colonies Vanguard.